Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Dirty Dancing. I am loving recapping this movie. I'm so into this. This is probably one of my favorite recaps so far. But we are deep diving it. We're talking behind the scenes. So let's jump right back in. Remember, we left off where Baby is dancing with Neil, the nerdy, grandson of the owner Max, and basically just watching Penny and Johnny. It's the first time she's seeing them dance like this and just kind of enjoying it. So let's pick up there and get into this movie. Talk about all the behind the scenes drama and goodness that went on. Here we go. So in Patrick's memoir, he actually said, controversially, that he thought Johnny and Penny should have ended up together, not Johnny and Baby. So the producers wanted Johnny and Penny to tone down their scenes so he would stand out more with Baby later, but Patrick had a real problem with that. He put his foot down and said, no, we're doing this. We got this. And it's also reported that he actually held back his dancing skills throughout the movie. He was actually, his brother says, a much better dancer than this movie showed, and he held back because in the movie he didn't want to look like a professional. He was a dance instructor at this vacation spot, so he held back on some of his dance moves. So keep that in mind because he's amazing in the movie. Max sees them dancing, puts the cut sign up. Neil says, hey, would you like to get things started? We find out he's in charge of games or something. So they end up sawing Baby in half. And one of the most awkward scenes, she's given a goose because she's a good sport. And it's just cringe, right? So we see she's taking a walk. And she runs into Billy. Billy says, can you keep a secret? He asks her to carry a watermelon. So I'm going to talk about music a lot throughout this movie because they're together, right? It's the best music. I love this music for this movie. So here we have Do You Love Me by The Contours. And I know as soon as I said that title, I now have that song in my head, and you probably do too. Do you love me? Okay, I'm not saying it. She stares at everything going on. It's Dirty Dancing. Ooh. Okay. So the movie screenwriter is Eleanor Bergstein. I hope I'm saying that right. Eleanor Bergstein. And she was inspired to write this movie because there was an erotic dance scene in this movie she liked, It's My Turn, and it was cut out. And it sounds like it got lodged in her head. So she actually thought it out and wrote this movie. So everyone's dancing. Johnny and Penny come in. Baby notices Johnny, of course, and notices them together and sees them dancing, kind of wondering or thinking like we are, like, oh, they must be a couple because, yeah, their chemistry is off the charts, right? Amazing dancers. Cynthia Rhodes, I think, is so talented in this movie. She's amazing to watch. Okay, behind the scenes, Billy Zane was actually up for the lead role, as well as Sarah Jessica Parker. Did you know that? And then supposedly Billy Zane says he got turned down because he can't dance. Sharon Stone also auditioned for Baby as well. Val Kilmer was actually offered the role of Johnny, but turned it down. Okay, Billy tells Baby, you'd think they were a couple, and she says, aren't they? Nah, not since we were kids. So he comes up and says, yo, cuz, what's she doing here? Talking about Baby. This is the famous I carried a watermelon line. Now, I learned something so fascinating during this time. I carried a watermelon. There's actually a goof here, and all the times I've watched it, I never noticed. Okay, so watch this scene again. She says, I carried a watermelon. And then immediately after, they misdubbed it. She mouths it again. I carried a watermelon. Like she's moving her mouth. But then she says to herself after that, I carried a watermelon? So she actually says it 3 times in the movie. Didn't know that. Never noticed that messed up dub. It's kind of interesting to notice now. Okay, so from here they play Love Man by Otis Redding. And Johnny walks up and does that finger thing. Yeah, not that finger thing. The other finger thing to Baby and waves her over. So they start dancing, but she has like no idea how to move her hips. So he's showing her. They're kind of I don't know, rotating, moving. I'm doing the movie, can't say it. Moving their hips around, and he keeps saying, watch my eyes, good. And he's kind of leading her. And you can see a quick progression where she goes from not knowing how to move her hips around to kind of getting into it at the end, right? So the song ends, and he walks away. And that's the end of that scene. So then it's the next day, presumably, and there's a wig show. Okay, let me talk behind the scenes real quick. Remember I told you the other parts were filmed in Virginia. Here we are at Lake Lure in North Carolina. There's a Lake Lure Inn where the cast and crew stayed, and this beautiful lake behind them. I've actually been there. I love Lake Lure. It's beautiful there. A couple, 2 hours away from Dollywood, that general area, but it's in North Carolina. It's beautiful. It has this beach that you can see behind them, but now they have slides and stuff up. Or the last time I went, they had slides and stuff up. Pretty cool area. Okay, so Lisa and Baby are trying on wigs. Robbie comes up being just a total douche, saying, remember Robbie the waiter, ask not what your waiter can do for you, but what you can do for your waiter. And apparently it's working on Lisa because she's into him. Blech. Johnny comes up and says, ladies, you look beautiful. So, of course, Baby has to take off her wig, fix her hair, and kind of make eyes at him, right? And, okay, so Lisa asked Baby to cover for her. She's going to go to the golf course. Pretty view for the first tee, meaning I'm going to go meet up with Robbie. Well, Baby goes over to Penny and says, you're really a rockette. I think you're a wonderful dancer. Was actually being really sweet. And Penny bugged the crap out of me here because she couldn't have been more of a bitch, right? She's saying, yeah, well, my mother kicked me out when I was 16. What? She says, I've been dancing ever since. It's the only thing I ever wanted to do. Baby says, I envy you. And Penny just walks away. Just total bitch. I like Penny later in the movie. Love the actress. Hate those lines. I get it. I know what they're going for. It's like she makes up her mind and prejudges Baby. I guess in the same way Baby kind of prejudges what's going on with Penny. So maybe it's that, but it's still annoying. Okay, now we go on to Foxtrot. They're doing the Foxtrot in the gazebo. This is Vivian Pressman, played by Miranda Garrison. So Max calls her a bungalow bunny. And she stays all the time at this resort while the husband just comes up on the weekends. And it sounds like she kind of gets around with some of the dance people. Neil asks Johnny where Penny is. And, of course, Johnny's always got Penny's back, so he covers for her and says she's taking a break. Well, Neil is just such a dweeb and says, come on, doll, let's take a walk to Baby. So they go off for a walk. And it's so funny watching this movie back and just seeing it, I guess, more as an adult. I've seen it a bunch, but realizing Jennifer does a great job in this part where her body language, she's just not into this dweeb at all. She's rolling her eyes. She's just pulling away from him. He's laying it on thick, right? So she says, maybe my parents are looking for me. And he says, baby, don't worry. If they know you're with me, they're the happiest parents at Kellerman's. I know I'm known as the catch of the county. Ugh. Okay. A quick scene of Lisa and Robbie arguing, and Neil says, sorry you have to see this, offers to take her for a snack. They go into a kitchen, and Baby sees that Penny is crying. She does not bring this to Neil's attention. She says, maybe I should go help Lisa, go check on her, and then we see her run to go get Billy, who interrupts Johnny while he's dancing to tell him about Penny. That was a lot, right? Did you get all that? Okay, interesting behind the scenes thing. There's a lady he's dancing with here. She's wearing white. Unfortunately, I thought I got a photo of her. I didn't. But she is Eleanor Bergstein, the actual writer of the movie. So they take off running and they bring Baby just in case Neil comes back. She can distract him. And Baby wants to know what's the matter with her and why she's crying so hard and shaking. Okay. Here's the subplot of this movie, right? It has to do with a touchy subject. So if you're not into it, maybe fast forward past this. Okay, so Penny is pregnant. And they're very careful because it's the early 80s not to really talk about it. I mean, they do and they don't. They even polled a bunch of people afterwards, and they didn't realize that one of the sub-stories of this movie is actually about unwanted pregnancy and abortion and that sort of thing. So they almost had to hide the storyline, but it explains why Penny couldn't dance and why she needed the money and she needed to be gone. You know, it sets up the whole storyline. But again, in the 80s, advertisers were leery of this, and we'll get into what happened there. But just know that that's the, of course, the storyline here. Everybody's immediately thinking it's Johnny's baby, but aha, it's not. It's Robbie's baby. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so Johnny could not be sweeter. He finds her crying on the floor. He says, I'm here. It's okay. I'm never going to let anything happen to you. We see that they almost have a protective relationship. I want to say brother and sister, but I don't think you dance like that with your brother. I don't know. So it's that kind of thing. Well, still, Penny is being a dick to Baby. She's fussing at her, basically saying, how could you tell her? Go back to your playpen, Baby. And Baby leaves. Well, it's kind of, I don't know. Baby is a little bit annoying. She just assumes it's Johnny's, but I guess she's just seeing what's in front of her. It was the 80s. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, who cares? So she leaves, and then we see her confront Robbie. Robbie's putting down rolls. Baby's filling the water. And Robbie could not be a bigger dick. He's saying some people count and some people don't. And then he says, read it. Okay, this is interesting. He hands her Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand? However you say that. He wrote the book and created this thing called objectivism. So basically, objectivism holds that it's more important for one to be concerned with their own well-being than the well-being of others. So he used this book in this way. Basically, it kind of justifies him being a dick. One of my favorite lines in the movie, Baby pours water down the front of his pants and says, you make me sick. Stay away from me, stay away from my sister, or I'll have you fired. And she smiles big while she pours water down his pants. It's beautiful, beautiful scene. We find out that Penny could meet with this doctor to help her take care of the situation. It would cost $250. So Baby goes to her dad playing golf saying, I need $250. He says, that's a lot of money, Baby. What's it for? She says, I can't tell you. He says, it's not illegal. No, Daddy. So he says, basically like, that was a stupid thing to ask. I'll have it to you before dinner. Forgive me. With no other questions asked. That kind of blew my mind, even back then and still to this day. Whatever, he gives her the money. That's that. Okay. So then she goes to find her new friends. Now, again, music. Love this. Stay by Maurice Williams is playing. Such a great song. Baby goes to find Penny. They're all dirty dancing. Here's the money. And she said, what, you mean Robbie? And she said, no, you were right about him. And Johnny calls her out and says, oh, it takes a real saint to ask Daddy. And she won't take the money. We find out she can only get the appointment to meet with this doctor on Thursday, but they have a dance at Sheldrake that night, so she couldn't do both. And if they cancel the Sheldrake, they could lose not only the rest of their salary, they could use next year's gig. So they talk about it, and they say, what do you want to do it? You want to fill in, take time out from Simon Says? And Billy and Penny are saying, you could teach anybody. And she says she can't do the merengue. And Johnny keeps using that against her. She can't do it. She cannot do it. Well, guess what happens? He starts to teach her to dance. Okay, this is where I'm ending the second part of the Dirty Dancing recap. I can't wait to get into the third part because I love when he's teaching her to dance and all the dance moves and the songs. I love it all. Such a great movie. I hope you're enjoying this recap. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're interested, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.